This is Coogan Cassius for Eiffel TV. We're at the Marriott Hotel here for the press conference for Ricky Burns versus Terence Crawford. With me from Sky, I've got Ed Robinson. How are you, Ed?
Yeah, good, Coogan. Early flight, but good.
Early flight indeed. This will most probably be Ricky's toughest challenge to date since becoming world champion at this weight. Would you agree?
Yeah, it can't be a tougher fight than he had against Beltran because of the broken jaw. Martinez was a really tough fight as well, getting put down so early. So I don't think physically it can be tougher, but he goes in as an underdog as a world champion, and really we're going to find out how good Crawford is, because he's been heavily hyped, he's unbeaten, but he's not travelled before really, and we don't know how good he is. And the questions with Ricky Burns are obviously the jaw. I mean, whether that's going to affect the back of his mind, you know, whether he's going to be thinking about it and worrying about it every time he gets hit. And it's intriguing because I don't know how tactically Ricky Burns is going to go about the fight, because some people say, oh, well, maybe put it on Crawford because he's a bit untested, make it hostile, and some people say Ricky should go back to what made him a good fighter in the first place, back foot boxing, keep it long. But I don't know, Crawford's tall and rangy himself, so yeah, a lot of questions really, to be honest.
I think Terence Crawford comes into this fight as a slight favourite, isn't he? Which is not always the case when you're coming into the backyard of a champion, is it?
Yeah, he's got a long unbeaten record, and we're going to find out whether he's hype or whether he's for real. Saw him in the hotel. You know, he's tall, rangy, languid, nice boxing ability, not a massive puncher, but it's funny with Ricky, isn't he? Because sometimes he's done better when he's the underdog, and he's the underdog here. Sometimes, like, you know, I was watching him with the Beltran fight and when he fought Jose Gonzalez. Sometimes he looks so crude, Ricky, with the right hand, he kind of slaps it. Other times he boxes beautifully with a jab and straight right hand, but I think he's got to kind of keep the shots straight, not hook with the guy too much, and short on the right hand. Sometimes he kind of throws it almost like a bit of a flap or a slap, and when he kind of throws it straight, it's a much better punch.
Just announced recently, well in the last couple of days actually, that Floyd Mayweather will take on Marcus Maidana on the 3rd of May. Venue to be confirmed yet, but this whole situation has been it's been a bit ugly for Amir Khan, because he was sort of the front runner for a while, and we sort of assumed that was the fight that was going to be announced, and then he had the poll and Amir come on top of that poll. So, you know, what's happened here? You know, why is it Maidana and not Khan?
I didn't vote one way or the other, but apparently when you voted you had to kind of give up Twitter rights and whatever, and so it seems a bit of a cynical marketing move. That's why the numbers weren't as high as you'd expect with Khan. I think however many million Twitter followers, it was only like 100,000 people voted, because you had to give all your details and everything. So it sounds cynical because he won the poll and then didn't get the fight. But I don't know, maybe I've got a slightly different take on it. I think Maidana deserved the fight more than Khan, although obviously you could argue that Khan beat Maidana 3 years ago in December, whatever it was. I think Maidana beating Broner in America, it was a sensational fight. It just kind of makes sense. And Amir, he waited because he thought the fight was coming to him, but you know, he should have stayed busy, I think, because really his last couple of fights haven't been the most impressive, and I didn't think he was great against Julio Diaz. Now, that controversially, I think that it could actually be to Amir's advantage, because he's going nowhere, Mayweather's going nowhere. I think Mayweather should be able to outbox Maidana fairly easily, and he's running out of challengers, especially because of the political situation between Golden Boy and Top Rank. So Amir will get his chance. He's just got to stay busy and maybe have one or two more meaningful fights, especially at welterweight. So I don't think it's the end of the world, and it's hard to feel too much sympathy for Amir, because he should have stayed busy, because he'll probably get his shot anyway. There's lots of opportunities out there for him, and even though he beat Maidana, you know, there was an argument for him being stopped in the late rounds of that fight. I mean, if you compare that fight to, say, Groves and Froch, I mean, he was properly gone a few times, although in fairness he did drop Maidana very early with a body shot, which could have ended it as well.
The social media networks have, well, saying going crazy this week, but they've been on the whole Khan and Brook vibe. It seems apparent that from the Khan perspective, they don't really want that fight for whatever reason. Kell Brook and Eddie Hearn seem to want that fight. So what's your take on that?
I think it's a great fight, you know, but I'm a little bit biased. I've got to declare allegiance. I work at Sky. Hopefully it'll be a Sky box office fight. If it did happen, I think it's a big attraction fight. I think it'd be intriguing. They don't like each other. They've sparred in the past. They had some feisty words for each other on ringside. But I don't know. I mean, it's up to Golden Boy as well, isn't it? You know, they might have some plan for him in America. Maybe it makes more sense for one of them to win a world title again if Kilbrook beats Sean Porter and Amir had a meaningful win at welterweight, maybe against Devon Alexander, the former champion, or someone like that. It would be an even bigger fight this year, this summer. All eyes are going to be on Froch and Groves, wherever that turns up. So you can't have too many of those big fights in close succession. So maybe it's a fight for the autumn or for next year.
All right, Ed. Well, listen, thanks for talking to IFL TV. Always good to get you on.
Cheers, Coogan.
As you talk a little bit of sense every now and again.
Cheers.
Most of the time. Thanks for talking to us.